Hi everyone, welcome back to Nocturnal Citizens. This is Rigsby.
I'm Gremlin.
It's Murphy.
We interrupt our normal podcast to bring you another episode of Mumbles and Grumbles, a hot take on our everyday lives and interests. To start this episode off, Gremlin will be providing our icebreaker.
For today's icebreaker, what book are you most excited to start reading this year or finish if you haven't yet?
Oh, I've been put on the spot.
I know.
Excuse me, I gotta search through my phone.
There's so many books I have on my shelf. I'm a book hoarder.
Oh my god. There's this one I saw on TikTok. Oh no.
Why'd you put us on the spot?
That's the point of the
icebreaker. Why don't you start?
First of all, I'll at least say I need to finish Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Didn't mean to stop that. It was really, really good. Life happened and didn't get back into it, so I need to do that soon. And then also, I'm sorry if I say this wrong, but the Priority of the Orange Tree, which was like super popular on TikTok for a while, has caught my eye, so I kind of want to start reading that soon.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that. Also a book that I literally have I gotten to it? No, but I'm also a serial, I don't know what it's called, but right now I have 3 books that I'm going in between that I just read depending on my mood. It's quite chaotic, but anyways, yeah, that's a book I have. It's going nowhere except that.
Wait, what's the name of the book?
That I want to read?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I can't think of the name. It's somewhere in my TikTok. But to save time of me just scrolling through looking for it, because I cannot remember the name. I can literally see the cover art, but I don't know the name of it. Or I'd have to run to my bookshelf. But probably catch up on V.E. Schwab. That's something that popped in my head because I started reading I can't remember the name of the series. The series that's really, really popular. I started reading.
I love the series.
I started reading that, and I never got back to it. I read it on my Nook, which dates me a little bit. Whatever. I read it on my Nook, and then I lost my Nook, and it turned into a whole thing. Anyways. TLDR, I would like to start reading V.E. Schwab again. I don't have a specific book because I literally have my library just sifting through my head with no names.
Well, that's what happens when we book hoard.
Yeah.
Because we both do that too much. I've been trying to get back into classics, so I did get recently a Hunchback book edition. So I've been meaning to read that. I just haven't tackled it yet because it is a pretty thick book.
Oh,
it is.
Sorry, I just thought of it. I would also like to finally read Sandman because I was gifted that.
You sure were.
Yeah. Need to get on it.
I was gifted that by these 2 lovely people. But I haven't gotten to that because, as I said, I'm a chaotic book reader.
And we need to read Frankenstein before the new movie drops.
Yeah.
Whenever they actually do filming and everything else with Andrew Garfield and Oscar Isaac.
Okay, I'm gonna out myself. I love Andrew Garfield. Absolutely love him. As a person, he just seems really approachable, and obviously, you can't tell by my voice, I am very attracted to the man. But when I heard he was gonna be Frankenstein, I floored. And then Oscar Isaac,
as Dr. Frankenstein.
Absolutely fantastic.
I was befuddled and quite struck by the idea. But yeah, we need to, we should do that. Do that. Yep.
There's a lot of them. Be careful.
She's off in dream world.
Brought up Andrew Garfield.
Just a thought having thoughts.
Essentially.
I'm a thought?
You're a thought.
Sometimes.
technically not a thought.
I guess you can't be. I guess that's more me.
That's That's very gremlin. Gremlin is thought. I guess. Oh my god! I need to segue because I am very undeterred.
We could literally sit here for a while and talk about Andrew. And
she could literally give you a list of all his works, A, B, and C, and why they're fantastic and why he did it great.
You're making me sound obsessive. I'm not obsessive. I'm just. I admire the man.
His acting ability and him as a person.
As a person, he's also existential, which is.
Murphy doesn't normally obsess. That's usually Rigsby and I.
Yes.
But there's certain topics and people. But you don't have problems. You're just passionate about certain things. Okay.
About a lot of people.
It's not a problem.
Listen, my recent obsession is very problematic.
Do you want to talk about the recent obsession? Obsession.
Listen, I will just say, I watched Game of Thrones, loved it, but I hated the ending. And so I was a little hesitant about the House of the Dragon show, so I kind of put it off, but like everyone kept saying like it's so good, so I thought, okay, might as well. And then of course, as always, I get sucked into it. That being said, like they took away from the storyline in the books, which is kind of sad, but it's still like entertaining. But I really latched onto the characters very obsessively, and Queen Rhaenyra is my whole world. So that's the obsession that has currently taken over my life. But yeah.
Stuff sifts through and it filters in and out. That's what happens.
It does. In a couple months it'll be something else.
Yeah. She has many loves.
I do.
So.
I do.
But as the segue you were talking about. Something that I've been thinking about recently, I just wanted to bring up and see how you guys felt about it and your views and stuff, I guess, was effective communication. I've realized as an adult, it's something that shouldn't be taken advantage of, and it's quite important. And like, I'm not talking about just I guess it's not general communication. It's more the emotional intelligence behind it, and if you don't effectively communicate something and don't talk about exactly how you're feeling, you could end up internalizing it, and then your perceptions end up creating some sort of rift between you and the person or persons. And it feels like that happens a lot, and it could just all be fixed if you just effectively talked about it. I don't know, it's just something I'm coming across more, or like aware of it.
Can I use an example?
Yeah.
Currently, a little different but kind of similar. Gotta be careful here. Work related. I have somebody that I thought I was decently close to, and they out of nowhere just turned on me, I want to say like a year ago, and I mean just throughout the months I was being
I was like trampled on.
Hold on. Demolished, smeared. Yeah, like my character was being smeared, and my work ethics and stuff that like didn't make sense, and I feel like there was no communication before like the smearing, let's call it the smearing, happened, and
the smearing.
And honestly it's tragic because I mean I don't know if genuinely they're kind of not a great person underneath it all, or maybe like something happened, and instead of just literally sitting down and talking to one another, having a heart-to-heart, like getting to the bottom of it. Like I thought we were close enough that you'd think you'd want to keep that person in your life or close to them.
Also, it's a work relationship. Like that should be different. It's not, at least in my eyes, it's not a personal relationship. It's someone at work, so you need to have the communication there, at least in that regard, to finish your shit.
Yeah.
And like meet your goals and do whatever you need to do at work. Otherwise, you're creating unnecessary drama and problems.
And a toxic, like, environment.
And it's
where that person just feels overwhelmed and, like, suffocated. Because there's this awkward tension in the background that you're like, where's this coming from?
And it seems like it hinders you.
Yeah.
Because there's the weirdness of it all.
Yeah.
And you're not really sure what caused it, and they never said anything.
No. So then it's just... Normally, I would probably go out of my way, if it was a personal relationship, to talk to them and be like, hey, I feel like something happened here. The only reason why I can in this scenario, just FYI, is because of the power play. I don't want to lose my job, so I kind of feel like I can't approach in that respect. But in a, I guess a more personal, friendship, familial, whatever, like, in those cases, like, don't let a riff happen unnecessarily. Like, you could fall apart, separate, or whatever from natural stuff. Like, it happens. But you'd be surprised if, like, you just communicate with them and tell them, like, hey, you said this to me at one point and it's festered, or this happened and it's built up, and, like, work it out, you know? That stuff, it builds and, like I said, festers, and it's not good for you in the end, and then you just push yourself away.
Also, it creates conflicts and if you get to the base of the reason, you don't even know the base, so you're just creating conflicts, and there's all these layers that didn't need to happen if there was just effective communication.
Yeah, because they could have, if anything, sat you down. You guys could have had a conversation where they could have been like, so we're getting too friendly, and I'm not comfortable being friends with my coworkers, so we can go back to a more business relationship. That would be preferred, and then at least you would have known, so it would have been easier to, like, cut ties, go back to just being strictly coworkers,
put the boundaries
decent acquaintances, redraw your boundaries, and that would have made a more friendly work environment instead of the more resentful that you're feeling.
Oh, very much.
Because it was like cold turkey, and you never were actually given a reason why. Yeah. Where if people had more open communication, not even like business, but like in personal relationships, where like, yes, it hurts in the moment, but as long as you outline it, it helps people heal better because you know what the reason was.
And not only that, but also, let's just say the other person said something, didn't mean it maliciously, but it happens. Like, everyone says things sometimes they don't necessarily mean, and it could hurt the other person. If they found out what they said and they don't mean it in that way, like, they want to know so that they don't ever do that again. Almost like a trigger, like, I won't bring that up, you know, and, you know, because they want to do better in your relationship too. Like, they're just unaware at the time because you're not communicating it properly.
It also would avoid, like, internalization, like I said earlier, of stuff, because
spiraling of
internalization, spiraling, like, you just not understanding what's happening, and then starting to perceive that other person in a specific way. Any situations you come across in interactions, they're gonna be skewed. And then, especially in, like, a work environment, it's going to be even different. Like, I guess even more different in that regard, because you literally have to work with them. So, any interactions that should be for whatever you're doing, work-related, they're going to now become more personal. Because of whatever you're... Anyways, I'm tangenting.
That is who we are. So that is what Mumbles Grumbles is about.
I am a rambling. Yeah, that's just something I was thinking about, because it literally, it does come down to emotional intelligence, in my opinion. It does. And sometimes it is just swallowing your pride and asking the other person, hey, what's happening? Or even if something's bothering you, talking about it and saying, hey, this really bothered me, or this affected me this way. I just thought I wanted to tell you because I don't want to internalize it because that's who I am as a person. Or I don't want this to create a negative perception because I can see myself doing that. It's also self-awareness. Like, it just feels like it would resolve a lot of conflicts with before they occurred.
Even like having the awareness to step away from the situation.
Exactly, yeah.
Like having the ability to tell the other person, like, hey, I'm getting too heated about this. I'm gonna say something I don't mean. So can we talk about this again later? Like having that emotional maturity to step away and then come back and re-outline the issues. Most people don't really have.
No.
Or they feel like they can't say it because they feel like they're not in an environment where they can.
Yeah.
So.
And if it's awkward, it also, like, if it's awkward, you should just deal with the awkwardness. I'm a very awkward person, and I found that if you just, like, sorry, I'm looking at Snowball as he's snoring. I'm getting very distracted because I want to talk.
He's very distracting.
If you, yep, see, it's gone. The train has left. Can someone bring me back, please?
She's been snowballed.
Oh no.
What was I saying? Oh no,
I know
it
you
was
were-
important.
The emotional intelligence.
Creating a awkwardness.
Yeah, your awkwardness, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Riggs.
This happens too often.
It happens a lot. Anyways, the awkwardness, like, if you feel that it would be awkward to bring something up or talk about it or whatever variance of said awkwardness, you deal with it head on. It's not gonna be as bad.
It also gets easier.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking. Yeah, that. Yeah. We're just to let you guys know, we're just staring.
all the down. I got distracted by snap.
We're staring at him as he peacefully snores while we had this important conversation about how to be effective humans and have
and
good
have
relationships.
emotional-
I guess Snowball is saying, just curl up and go to sleep.
Yep.
Deal with it another
That's
day.
one way. Yeah, that's one way to do it. That's for tomorrow's problem.
Honestly, that
Which-
sounds great.
Which honestly, I think
Sometimes.
most people tend to do anyways. They're like, you know what, I'm going, and it's not even necessarily like a. Okay, I actually want to bring that up because sometimes that's a bad thing, and sometimes it's okay.
Oh yeah.
Like, for instance, I'll say like me. Sometimes in the moment, like I'll just be upfront about my emotions or like sadness or something that's happening in the day, and I'll just like come out and cry or say it. But sometimes like you just kind of have to go curl up in bed and either cry or like engage in something that makes you happy, that takes your mind away from the present issue, just to kind of cool down or like rearrange your mindset, and then, you know, later on or the next day you're calmer, you're more collected
Calm,
with your
cool,
thoughts.
collected.
Yeah, calm, cool, collected. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, don't think that means that you're just trying to run away. There's very obvious running away methods, and unfortunately too many people do that. But yeah, sometimes you have to curl up and just read a book, watch a movie,
Do whatever you need to do.
yeah, listen to music, do anything that like just calms you down
And obviously,
before you engage with the issue on hand.
just kind of, and if it is like how Rigsby was saying, that if you're having a heated conversation or something happens and you don't want to say whatever, you can tell the other person, like, hey, I'm gonna need a minute, or I'm gonna need a day, or whatever time you need, and communicate that, and then come back to them instead of looking like you're running away from the situation or ignoring them. Obviously depends on it, right? Because everyone's different, everyone's going to perceive things differently and react differently, but that would be very helpful. Yeah.
I would say similar, but like different segue, but weaponized incompetence.
Yeah.
Big issue, I think, in general, but like especially at workplaces.
No, I agree.
As you're aware, Murphy.
Yeah.
too.
You want to give a definition just in case?
Yeah, so basically, I guess just an experience, like somebody that, I know someone who, I guess is older, not that that's an excuse or anything, but like they're older, so like technology doesn't come like super quick to them. Totally understandable, it happens. But you know, we have the methods now, especially in a work setting, where you know you can learn things at your own pace or whatever, but like learn it. If you're, especially when you get higher up, like you should be expected to know certain things. But basically, like being at a certain status and I guess pretending or not allowing yourself to engage in growing and learning and allowing people below you or around you to kind of take up your slack, I guess is the right term.
Yeah.
Where you are perfectly capable.
Or even like throwing it on them.
Yeah, throwing them on, or like pretending that you're not capable even though you clearly are, and you're just like, I don't want to do this today.
It seems like the easy way out.
Yeah, you're being lazy or whatever, you just want to throw it on someone else. But, you know, how do you think that feels for the people around you, especially if you're in a leadership position, how that feels on the people below you who look up to you in a certain way, and how that kind of creates a toxic environment around you.
I was gonna say it also would create a ripple effect and like you said, create the anxieties and the toxicities between people and the situation, and you know, whatever the, I don't know why I want to say like the parentheses, I guess it would be like the room that this room of the situation that you're talking about. It makes no sense.
Somehow I get it though. Fully understand.
If I could draw you a picture, I would draw you a box and I put you in the box and say, this is the thing I'm talking about. But, yeah, it would help.
But, and I mean, obviously it's not just like work-related stuff. Anyone is capable
No, it's anything.
in real life to do, you know, to weaponize that incompetence and use it against loved ones, and it's very destructive, so.
I wonder...
I know too many people like that.
I wonder how many people actually are aware that they're doing that.
That's true. Sometimes things are just unintentional, but sometimes, in my opinion, it could be worse.
No, I agree. Like, why aren't you aware of what you're doing, especially if
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And some people do choose to live in that.
They do.
Well,
they
then,
do.
I'm wondering now, then would it be at some fault of the people that they're affecting for them not confronting them and telling them to make them aware?
It depends on, if it's like a personal relationship, that could be easier. If it's work and it's somebody higher than you, that's almost like, that's not happening. Or sometimes you do. Maybe you'll say like, hey, let me sit here and show you how to work this, and you know, then you can do it on your own. And if they're still doing it, then that's on them. So that happens too. But I think it's harder in a work environment, especially if the person that's weaponizing it is your superior. It's so much harder to tell them like, hey, you can do this shit. I know you can.
Also, if depending on the person, how they are, because there's certain people. I guess we're talking a lot about work. Specific people in work environments that I've come across where they're easier to talk to about issues than others because they're not as defensive, or like it doesn't seem as much as a confrontation. It's more like you're just trying to have that communication. Hey, we've circled back. To have that communication. So everything can be at peace. Because if there's peace, it's just better. Why would you want more negativity? That train's gone too. Oh man, I don't know what's happening today.
Well, some people like negativity because they like drama.
Yeah, they like thrive on it.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's a whole nother thing.
But then that goes into more like narcissistic personalities.
Which unfortunately is very much in abundance in this world.
Yeah.
Like, I've known way too many people that fit that category, and I'm like, how is there this many people like this?
Me, probably analyzing too, but just I feel like that's growing because of the I guess the way of life that we're living in the westernized world at least. Does that make sense?
And also social media.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was.
Social media. I mean, not that it's a bad thing or a good. Well,
hiding behind the keyboard.
Yeah. No, that's the biggest thing. But also just I think we've been programmed. You know what I mean? Sort of to like identify ourselves based off of our internet personalities, and like how we are perceived to people, and I think that can create narcissistic
and it's so easy
traits and tendencies.
Like it's so easy to curate this life or this persona, especially on social media, and then you. Like Rigsby was saying, you can hide behind it. You can, you have this entirely different viewership that are perceiving you a very specific way, how you want to be perceived, and then that could fuel a narcissism that you are creating, internalizing, and embedding. I'd just be throwing words out. That you're using that to hide from your actual life.
Yeah. You know, I will say also, because I've been wanting to talk about this, but too often, like, that whole concept of chronically online, where, like, you know, turn off the internet and go outside, it's different. Yes, but I think people don't realize is that the people, which is a lot of people on the internet, who are willing to let these dark tendencies fly on there, those are all underlining things about themselves in real life.
Yes.
Their real life is almost a mask. Their internet personality is actually the truth, because they're able to like have unfiltered interactions. So when I see and hear a lot of this stuff that gets thrown around, like, that's why I get like worried for the future, because I'm just like, yeah, you don't hear or see a lot of it in person, as opposed to online, but like these thoughts are very real to these very real people walking about, and it's just like, that's scary, that's terrifying to me, that it's just a mask they're putting on. You're seeing their real self.
They're
in many ways
undiagnosed, they're not being taken care of in not just like, you know, a babying regard, but they're not being dealt with, and then they're able to just get away with it. Yeah. There's no consequence, but also the underlying, like, what's causing this, and that help being sought out to stop that troll behind the keyboard, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's not like these people are like they're obviously real people.
They're not just like, you know what, today I'm just gonna do this, but I don't actually need it.
But like, I'm an actual, you know, I'm a great person.
I'm a real boy.
So yeah, I think we do have to not be chronically online, but at the same time, I think it's an important conversation to not just dismiss what is happening on the internet, because those are very real thoughts that your everyday person is thinking of.
And they affect very real people who end up seeing it, and then, yeah. I was going to say internalized. And I feel like that's a good place to segue to that.
So on that note, hope you all enjoyed our podcast today. If you have anything you would like us to talk about next time or expand on from this segment, you can easily drop a comment on any of our social platforms.
And I know I know it got a little existential or serious this time, but yeah, if you have thoughts or whatever, definitely drop it in the comment, or reach out to us, because this is definitely it's a topic that's very valid, and it feels like it should be talked about.
Yeah, so if you ever want us to expand upon it or other stuff, let us know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye.